Can we go 1 year without the government shutting down? 3 times in 1 year. That is almost unheard of. But here we are again. So, what a way to start off the new year. So, there were two stories that I was going to cover, but I decided against because of some sketchiness as to what made these stories materialize. So I decided against them. There's one that I will be covering, but first, Christmas came and went. I was down in Florida again, visiting my sister. Did spend some time at the Disney resorts, and stayed at the Wilderness Lodge again. And yeah, the places were crowded as expected, especially Magic Kingdom. Didn't get to do a whole lot, though. It's really no big loss because I already gone on many of the attractions there. Let's see what the one I really went to the most was Epcot, so I did visit around the world, and I did make a visit to Universal. Did a few, very few rides there because we were on limited time. We visited both parks. We did one show. We did one or two rides at the main park. We did the Grinchmas show in the Islands of Adventure, and I will say, compared to the Jim Carrey version, it's an improvement. I mean, I know it's limited to just 30 minutes, but there was just parts that were cut out and was pretty much turned into a musical. But this was actually overall better for several reasons. For one thing, the biggest improvement is that compared to the Jim Carrey version, the Who's were not portrayed as vain. I mean, yeah, they put something in there like Cindy Lou was mentioning. What's the most important thing about Christmas? And her mother just wasn't paying attention. It says, "We need presents. We need presents." But when Christmas was stolen, they just went to singing at the tree. They didn't really complain. So, in the Grinch, the guy really played the part well. And even with like one mistake, like I think there were drumsticks. He put it back in his bag. One of them fell off, and he saw it drop down to the floor. He paused for a minute and just continued. It just played it off. I love those improv stuff. We did make a visit to several restaurants there. At Islands of Adventure, we visited 3 Broomsticks, which this is proof that you can get a quality meal while still getting value. This was excellent. I had a roasted chicken with a corn on the cob, and I forgot what was the other thing. I think it was potatoes, but it was $13, which is actually not a bad deal. I mean, there was a wait in the line because it's in the most popular section of the park, the Harry Potter section. But it was well worth it. And later that night, we did make a visit to a restaurant in the Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is a resort that I have never been to. I heard many things about it. It's a hotel that's been around for several years. And we made a visit to a restaurant called Jiko. This is an African food place. And it's fine dining, so there is a dress code. But because this was Christmas Eve, I think they relaxed the rules because we were still like in our Christmas stuff. But you usually have to be like more formal clothes. This is a restaurant which I really recommend going to, because this, I will say, is one of the best that I have been to any of the Walt Disney World restaurants. We had for our appetizer, we had what was called Taste of Africa, which they had 3 different kinds of bread with 4 spreads. One of them was hummus. There was one of my favorites. There was a sweet and spicy kind of spread. Really, you first get the sweet, and then it just gives you that bite there at the end. But it was really good. But for our main course, I had a short rib, and I had to say it was the best short rib I've ever had. Just right out the rib, it just melts in your mouth. It was perfect. So there is still some great food in the Walt Disney World Resort. I mean, yeah, it's on the high side, but I guarantee it is well worth it. So that is called Chico. That's at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. And again, you gotta have a formal dress code to attend it. But you do check that out if you ever visit. Let's see. What else? Did I miss anything? I did see the traffic there, and like I said, traffic was horrendous there. In fact, New Year's Eve, the park went into what we call Phase 4. That means that they stop letting guests in from anywhere. No one else gets in because the park is at capacity. And this happened at around 11:30 a.m., but they did start allowing guests back in at around 5:30. So for 6 hours, it was under Phase 4 conditions. Of course, it's because for the fireworks, and the fireworks surround the whole park. Of course, I never got to see it myself because at the time that I worked there, I was in the tower of Big Thunder Mountain, just looking over the ride, so I could only see it from the black and white cameras. So. But it's a spectacle to watch if you ever get to see it. Of course, you will have to deal with the crowd. What about presents? This I got from my sis. I think you'll like this. One of the pop figures, Nick Wilde. I think there is one of Judy, but this is the one I got. And this guy is going up here. Right next to Rocket. What else did I get? Now, I did get, for the whole month, I had an advent calendar, which which was really different because usually with typical advent calendars, you open up one door a day, and it gives a little piece of chocolate, which kind of resembles a gift. This one was parts of a Playmobil set. For those who don't know, Playmobil is I don't want to say Legos similar to that because it doesn't use blocks, but it's basically just a play set to which you can take your pieces, play with it, and all that stuff. And mine was hockey themed, and this was one piece set. This is an addition to it, and it's a Zamboni. Now this was this is from a company in Germany. So now I don't know if they put these out in the stores that much anymore, because usually Lego is the thing to that everyone goes for nowadays. But Playmobil is a really good set. There was another one here. Yep. So yeah, this is another part of the set that they added in. Oh, did I add anything else up there? Oh, I almost forgot. Over the holidays, I recently became a patron of one particular furry YouTuber, and he does excellent work. Adler the Eagle does animations. He does product reviews, and I really recommend looking at his channel, look at his videos. And I got this in the mail from him, along with from him and Blazin, as well as some Fluff Butt trading cards. His fursuit in animated form. The other ones that I got in here, let's see if you're in this. Darius, Dakar, Raster, and Jasiri. There is one more card that I do have. I have lying around somewhere, and it's of Jib Cody, another animator. Do recommend looking at his stuff. His stuff is on Twitter, but really cute animations. Recommend looking at his stuff too. Now, there's one more thing in here that I got in here, and for the record, I did not ask for this. Yeah, this thing. I only discussed this with my family when news of this spread. I knew of the controversy that it caused, and you could take it in one of two ways. I had said that this was not something that I would buy myself, because that would be more of a gag gift than something I would take seriously. So, and that's pretty much how I feel about this. I'm not taking this thing seriously. I mean, there is some funny stuff in there. I mean, it's a troll game. Hasbro's just trolling millennials. It's pretty much what it is. So I'm not taking this thing seriously, and nor am I looking to play this all the time. I just, like I said, I just see this as a gag gift. But I did watch a video of they had millennials have a look at this, and their reaction was mixed. But most, because they, of a set of nine millennials, which I know is a small sample size, but like I said, reaction was mixed. 5 said they would buy it, 4 said they would not. But of those no's, it was mostly because that they just weren't interested. One even said that they hate Monopoly. So they just weren't interested. There was only one that was really offended by it, but yeah, just don't take that so seriously, guys. It's just a board game. But on to other stuff. I'll get to the upcoming events in just a minute, but first, we have our upcoming FurCon in Raleigh, Anthro Crossroads East, which will be in about 3 weeks, I think. No, it's 2 weeks. Well, it's closer than I thought, but there's been some changes. we had a number of staffers that had left, and that is including the stepping down of the chairman. So we got a new director of Anthro Crossroads. It was formerly held by Jeff Henry, or also known as Chumley. It's now being run by Ion Otter. There were some concerns from the staff, and so yeah, there was 2 different letters that came out that was posted on Twitter from the new director, Ion Otter. And this is what he says. This is on the first one. Some of you may be aware that there have been some things that have happened over time that have caused the staff to lose confidence in the ability of Chumley to lead Tarpaul in its various events. Things came to a head on Friday. Jeff made a decision to put people in a very difficult position, and I had to reverse that decision. However, the damage had been done, and several staff members regrettably left. And some may yet leave after this announcement. I reviewed the grievances of every person I am aware of, and without exception, I agree with every concern they have. These are valid issues and real problems, and all the staff have done an outstanding job in spite of those problems, choosing instead to carry on for the last 3 years. They reached their limit, and I support their decisions. So, he does note that the future of ACE is in a state of flux. They're aiming to get past this year for now. Chumley has been put down to an advisory capacity. Now, is he still on the board? Yeah, right now Jeff is still a member of the board of directors. But he has stepped down to an advisory capacity. The second letter that was sent out around Christmas Eve. So what they've done is that they've been trying to get things back in order for security and operations. They're putting out the call for experienced security staff. They've been reaching out to different conventions, not just furry conventions, for some help. For programming, we'll have the charity auction. Uncle Kage will be doing his story hour. We have monkey knife fights, a game room, and there's gonna be plenty of stuff. The dealer's room. The dealer's room is full, and if, as of that letter, there's 15 dealers that are on the waiting list. Let's see. Now, audio visual. Now, I posted on Twitter that I have a big announcement to make, and I'll get to that in just a second. The board of directors are sourcing DJs for the dance, as well as a few bits and bobs that we currently don't have in our inventory. We have some very good leads and are working out the logistics. The hotel, yeah, like I said, we are now going to be at the Embassy Suites right next to Raleigh-Durham International Airport. Let's see. And there is a restaurant over there. There's going to be a breakfast. But right now, we've been working out the last bit to try to get everything back in order. Ion Otter recently had to go into surgery and has been recovering, and I think he is getting close back to full strength now. But as for that audio visual stuff that I've just mentioned here, um, I've been in talks with Ion Otter himself, and in the end, I am going to be taking over the audio engineering for this year's Anthro Crossroads East. Our other guy, a good friend of mine, Noel Struck, had decided to step down for personal reasons, but he was the first guy that went to, so I'll be taking over the audio equipment. And yeah, I've been talking with Ion Otter today, making sure that we have everything we need for the dances, for the panels that need it. So we're gonna make sure that everything is all good to go. So, and this will be the first time I've ever staffed something. I volunteered for cons in the past, but not outright staff them. So this will be new territory for me. But we'll see where this goes, and I have confidence that we're going to get everything smoothly. Let's see, but Tarpaul, which is just another name for our stuff here in North Carolina, Anthro Crossroads will be occurring in about 2 weeks, and which will lead me to the upcoming events. And I don't know why I closed the webpage. I had the list, but here's what we got. The next convention, say for January, FangCon from January 9th to 13th, which that con usually occurs in October, but they had to push it back because of stuff with the hotel. They went through a rebranding. And FangCon is usually a one I go to, but because of its close proximity with Anthro Crossroads East, I will not be able to attend that one. I usually DJ for that, but unfortunately, because of its close proximity with the convention over here, I will not be able to attend it. 11th through 13th, Aquatifer, which will be in Wisconsin. Same time, Japan Meeting of Furries. January 17th to 21st, Further Confusion in California. And like I said, Anthro Crossroads East, 18th to the 20th. Yeah, and I know that we're competing with a big con on the West Coast. Well, we're going to try to at least appeal to those that can't make the trek over to the West, and try to accommodate those for those here on the East Coast. And those are just pretty much the events we got for January. And I do have other events planned, at least for the short-term future. Aside from Ace, I have Foursquared lined up. Which when is that one? I believe that is. Yeah, I've lost sight of it. Where are you, Foursquared? I know it's listed in here. I know it's there. It is. February 22nd to 24th. I didn't realize it was that close, about a month and a half away. Didn't realize it was that close. What else we got? Biggest Little Fur Con is another one that I'm planning on. That's on May 16th through 19th. And I might be actually be doing a little rearranging this time. I might be arriving at BLFC early. Because and probably leave Sunday night because I have work obligations back at home, and I want to make sure I make the trek back to make sure I get back on time. It would have probably taken me an overnight flight to get that to happen. And by the way, I am still working on getting a hotel room over there. I've been in the drawings. I've been in the first 2 drawings, failed on both. Third and final chance to get one at a con room rate. After that, you're on your own. I mean, there will still be rooms available, just not at the con rate. And at the rate of attendance, who knows? They might surpass Anthrocon. Who knows? That is pretty much it. So, hopefully things will be better next time I come back over here. But for now, this Dragon's Mouth is now closing.